sometimes, it's good to get rocking out there, get that blood pumping, and then you just gotta
Gotta get the
chill
blood
for a
pumping and
little
then
while.
chill. Yep, you got it.
And who better to do that with than T.S. Eliot?
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, sunshines. Oh, we got new case information this morning. Sorry, I'm running late. I was reading through. I was trying to find. Audit has sent me her Substack link a few times, and now I can't find it on Substack. She has some pretty good information that she's been putting on there, and she's lost. And my phone's not charging, and I'm just having issues this morning. It is a Tuesday morning, that's for sure. In yuck, Haggis. Good morning, Haggis. I was just looking at your picture that you sent me. Ick. I'm glad we didn't get the snow. It's nice and bright and sunshiny. It's cold, but it's nice and bright and sunshiny out. Okay, so copy. If I send you this link, Haggis, could you post this, please? Hey, good morning, Muriel. I love you, Miriam. Audit has been posting on Substack, and I cannot. Yeah, Haggis got the snow. I'm just sending you her. Oh, really? It's cold here, but it's not snowing. That's for sure. Well, you've got some sunshine coming your way. So think some positive thoughts. I know it is colder than a witch's tit today. Thank you, Haggis. Yeah, I tried to email it to myself and it won't. I can't get it to frickin' email. Could could you be a huge person and could you email that to me? I have no idea why it won't let me email. It won't let me do anything. At least I got it to send to you. Oh, burr. Oh, so the Danny Masterson civil suit. I see the underground bunker was reporting on it this morning. That's what took me so long to get in here is I was reading through it and I'll summarize it by saying, "Hey, good morning, Peter. I don't I don't know. I just texted it to Haggis. So it texts. Maybe that's what the problem is, Peter. You could be onto something there. How are you doing today, Peter? Peter, I still have something for you if you would send me your email. I know you're thinking about it, but I promise I will never tell anybody. I'll zip my lips. Good morning, Kirby's mom. What's too big? There's not something as too big. Well, in the world of emailing, there's too big. Oh no, I see where we're going with this conversation this morning. How are you today, Kirby's mom? So I'm going to let somebody that can explain this way better than me, but the summary of it is the Scientology submitted their 70 some page appeal. Hey, Joe Bananas. Mm, let me look. Let me take that off. Let me find out. Blum, 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 blum. Yep. Now, I don't know why you could email it to me, but it wouldn't let me do it. That is, if anybody didn't know, that Audit threw her hat in the ring to Substack, and she has been putting information out. Journey 2020 had put out information about this school infiltration and some really, really good information. Good morning, Brian. We always have rowdy women in the chat. I thought that was part of our characteristics. Yep, and it's all off from information that Journey 2020 had posted and others really, but incredible teamwork again. It would be great to have it to a wider distribution. Now, something that Audit and I talked about is that the infiltration of the schools is a huge, huge demon hole. Good morning, Amy. Amy, would you pick up my stuff too while you're out? Woohoo, all right. Okay, we can have a spicy sunshine day. Hey, Irish Mart. Yeah, so she is definitely an excellent data miner. I agree. If anybody wants to put in her links too, that would be really cool. Every once in a while, Journey joins us in the morning. So it would be really cool if somebody wanted to take on a few of these front group categories. And I think Audit and I are going to do a live about that and about how you can data mine, use the data mine to really become an expert at this. You did. I saw that yesterday, Amy M. That was really good. Thank you, Jojo Bananas. I know you have haggis. It would be really cool if somebody said, I just want to be the expert at people or these front groups getting into schools, and you just become the expert at it. You become the go-to person. That would be a cool thing to do. Or somebody saying, I want to be the expert of all the Narcanon, or I want to be the expert of, well, we already have the Purif. We have a couple of people working on the Purifs. That doesn't hurt to have more. Or prisons. Just the different categories where they try and get SVA. Abel is pretty low key and sneaky. Yep, you're right. The CCHR, Amy's doing an incredible job with CCHR. That very well could be. Boy, I'm really crooked on my computer today. That very well could be that somebody on the school board is a sciento. Yep. But it would be really, really wonderful if somebody would take up that mantle. Irish Spring, keep it clean. Isn't there a soap called Irish Spring? Remember that? And the reason I ask Peter is because I have something going out to Miss Audit LA, and it would be nice to send a person to my mailbox all at the same time rather than having to do it 2 days. So if you were to send me your information, I would get your present out today. Please. And thank you. I do too. Yep. Haggis was helping on the drug-free world campaign. Yeah, he was doing all of those badges, remember, on the police force. You do, and you could use some help there. We need to get somebody that wants to help you do the back works. Yep. Oh, I'm not shaming anybody, you guys. You guys do a lot of stuff, believe me. I meant like if you hear of somebody that, just spread the word. I'm perfectly happy to pass on all the information that we've got or be a matchmaker for somebody. Hey, no throwing dirty words around, Peter. Yep. But it would be really cool if somebody, and I don't know who, I think we all do a lot. So that's what I'm saying is that, maybe somebody that is a lurker normally or somebody in behind the scenes that has said, hey, I would really like to get involved, but I don't know where. Maybe they could start gathering information from you, Haggis, for Canada, and gathering information from Denmark and kind of putting everything together. So if you've been sitting in the background and you just kind of want to get your feet wet to do something, this type of work is really needed. And I don't think that it would just benefit the anti-Scientology movement. I think this type of work could benefit all sorts of sneaky front groups that get in from different angles. It's amazing what is being taught to our little children. Yeah, I agree. We are definitely connecting a lot of the dots. And some of them, frankly, are uh, pretty disturbing. Hey, Dylan, I remember when they moved all the front groups from downtown to the HGB. Able was mainly filled with non-Sea Org. It was squarely put back under Scientology management. It was, yes. Audit has that email I put together with the info I use. Help would be good, helping Audit gather all the data, school boards, local superintendents, head teachers, get a list of addresses and emails. It it is. That is a great thing, but let me tell you why I'm saying this is because when you're down with all of the information and you see it all, Able buildings are now owned by CST. That's interesting. But it's overwhelming, Haggis. You know that. You get so much, and there's so many demon holes. Able is, and I'll let Dylan answer it, but it is it's their school section, kind of like Narconon or Criminon or CCHR. Able is the school part. Association for Better Living Through Education. Thank you, Dylan. Oop, mosquito. And am I right, Dylan? It's the branch for schools. Like Criminon is the branch for prisons. And Narconon is the branch for drug rehab. And CCHR is the branch for mental health. Right, Amy? That's a good question. And Dylan says its primary goal is to save point and be an avenue to make Scientology seem more normal. Yeah. Ruh-roh. That publication you have is very disturbing. There's a lot that's disturbing, Amy. Similar to WTH. Similar to what the hell? Explain WTH, Dylan. That'd be really kind of cool, Brian. At least get literature. Good morning, good afternoon, Adrian. Morning, hippie chick. Way to happiness. Oh, thank you. Way to happiness. What the hell? You know, this same same letters. Yeah, they're all. It's a tangled web. It is. It is a tangled web on purpose. That is for sure. It's supposed to be confusing. So that way, what did he say? If the horse is attacked on the left side, the right side is still fine. If the horse is attacked on the right side, the left side is still fine. Way to hell. There you go, Brian. That's a good way to put the WTH. Yeah, and Scientology's been infiltrating schools for years and years and years. This is nothing new. It was just interesting to see that some of the school districts have kicked them out. The umbrella policy and the history with CSE, yes, it is. I have seen those policies, Dylan. And it was all originally based on getting rid of psychiatry. Because all of like Able and Applied Scholastics, all of that came out about making sure um, that the children weren't medicated in school. Yep, I've seen those. Anyways, just a thought of how there were a ton of corporate restructure missions. Yes, I've seen those going through all of Mike Rinder's old that thumb drive and looking at the restructures, and the lawyers that were not Scientologists came in. Do you remember when? Wow, Dylan, you're not that old, but yeah, they had a specific battle plan for CCHR, which included. I mean, the battle plan's quite extensive. It's amazing. That would be that would be really cool. But what I was trying to allude to earlier, Haggis, is that she definitely there's so many pies that you want to put your fingers in that she's getting overwhelmed. And I want to do a little bit of defense mode on her, a little bit of protection, because she's getting overwhelmed. Well, I know you were born in, but that doesn't mean that I remember that you're that old, Dylan. You're like You kind of, to me, you're like a youngin'. You're not old enough to know CCHR. You're just a youngin'. That's why I thought, Haggis, it would be really cool. Good morning, Gina. If we could find somebody that could be maybe their mantle, and we can start redirecting a little bit of work. Because when you get overloaded and overwhelmed, a little brother vibe. Hey, hey, now, Brian, come on now. Well, most of you guys in here are younger than I am, so that's hard to even accept sometimes. Because some days I feel like I'm a 12-year-old in my joking, and other days I feel like I'm 90, but y'all need to respect your elders. Thanks for emailing that to me, Haggis. Now I can find it. So I ended up getting, I know, yep, what us big sisters are for. You think it's funny how Natalie likes to claim oldest second gen? You're not older than Natalie, are you? Dylan. My question is this: the program is not endorsed by SAM HSA or NIDA. I don't understand how they can go into schools because school districts and are all I didn't think so, Dylan. You're just giving me shit. I know. School districts are state by state, city by city, county by county, not on a federal level. There you go, Amy. That's how we're going to go. I'm 53 going on 13 with the emotional reactions of a 3-year-old. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you there, Brian. Yep, I can throw a temper tantrum with the best 3-year-olds around. You are not, Amy. The highest degree person with a PhD is dead, but still in the website. Look at the board. The highest degree person with a PhD is dead, but still in the website. For for what, Gina? Okay, well, you guys aren't very much younger than I am. We're very close in age. You're still younger, though. Gina, which board are you talking about? The Compton School Board? You're upset because you're a therapist and I do substance abuse for their drug program. Gina, I know I must have missed your note on which one are you talking about? I know you said the acronyms, but I don't know what you believe it was Narcanon. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with the conversation and or um, figure out what somebody's trying to say just off the chat. So I apologize. I am going to, oops, I'm going to take this off screen just for a second. Sorry, I was just looking because I wanted to get that before my son gets here. They are not evidence-based. I looked up the program that Sciento does, yes. No, it is not evidence-based. It is not. Gina, maybe you could email me specifically and I will either get you hooked up with more information or help you try and figure it out or try and figure out what you're talking about. I'm going to throw my new email address in here. It doesn't work. Addiction is unhealthy coping for pain, but I jumped through hoops to get my license to practice. Gina, are you here in the States? Yeah, it is amazing that like Minkoff, we were all talking about that the other day, where Minkoff is a pediatrician and that's what his doctorate is in. That's what his specialty is. But yet he continually does alternative medicine. And there's nothing wrong with, well, he's saying that it's medicine that's added on. In nice. Some of the best therapists are recovering addicts. You're probably right there, Adrian. There is a lot of self, you see that a lot. You hear even in these chats a lot of people that use 420 or the CBD. You're turning 41 in the summer? Yeah, alcoholism is probably more dangerous than a lot of the drug addictions. But I've honestly had a couple of relatives and a couple of friends that have died from alcoholism. Good morning, Kathy. And trying to quit. Wow. Wow, Gina. That's a crazy statistic. I know, right? Miriam is just a young gal. Gina, that's a crazy statistic. Of course, you know, well, when you're a kid, you do drugs or you do alcohol for the fun of it sometimes. But but yeah, that underlying trauma is huge. Thank you, Kirby's mom. So I saw that the other day, and her and I haven't talked. What is the Operation Goldenrod? I should probably ask Audit. And my shrink is just fine with me not wanting meds. Although if I want them, they are an option for me. You're right. You're absolutely right, Gina. Nobody wakes up saying I want to be an addict. Nobody wants to do that whatsoever. Yeah, your body can't handle. A very, very close friend of mine passed away trying to stop drinking on their own, which was incredibly sad. It was just their body just went into uh their body just didn't, their organs didn't, they went into organ failure. Pretty scary. Having a food addiction is tough because it is so available and it's not. Yeah, it is because you still have to eat. We can be the DTs. Yep, there you go, Amy. Thank you for that word. Um, there are all sorts. We could be addicted to the computer. You could be addicted to porn. You can be addicted to all sorts of things. Addictions don't just come with the word drug. You can be addicted to the internet. Neuropsychotherapy. You've studied the brain. Gina, you're a wealth of information. The mode with food addiction, it's the underlying cause. You're right. It is. And I'm sure there's probably trauma behind a lot of the food addictions too. Yep, it's the same reason. Kathy says both my older brothers are recovering addicts. I've never done drugs, but because I watched them and knew it was a road I didn't want to go down. I agree. I was so addicted to cigarettes. I was. I was so addicted to nicotine that I knew that if I tried other drugs, I probably would be just as addicted. So I just never tried them. So, yeah. Yeah, and you gotta wonder why. I think it's because he knew that if the mental health experts, the psychiatrist, the psychologist knew of what he was doing, that they would find that he was an imposter. And so he had to get the enemy out of the way. Oh, very good, Brian. Congrats. That's excellent. What is today? Today is the 8th. On the 13th will be my anniversary of 29 years of no smoking. That's a long time. Yep, they turned him away. They he knew that they could discover his lies. So they became the enemy. It could be too, they wanted to commit him. That's probably truer than we can think of. Yeah, I like to think of the April 13th day as my quit smoking day rather than the day of my accident. So something positive definitely came out about it. But looking back on it, 29 years without a cigarette? Ooh, because that the addiction was so strong. I could never imagine a day without a cigarette or even hours. I remember when we were talking the other day about how when the airlines you couldn't smoke anymore on the airplanes and how mad I was. You couldn't smoke on the plane anymore or smoke in the airport. Hmm. I will. I'll ask her about it today. We need to. I'll ask her to. Hey, Rona. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'll ask her to explain it to me. It just there's been too much. I talked her off a couple of ledges yesterday. Nice. Good job, Amy. Okay. Well, are you guys going to do a live or are you going to do a rollout on it? You went smokeless in your teens, cigs in my 20s, quit those when I turned 29, picked up cigars, when I was married, then switched to vaping after the divorce. Now you're nicotine free. 100% proud of you, Brian. Looks like you had different addictions to the nicotine in different ways for different parts of your life. I don't know that I could pick up a cigar, but hey, Molly Moon. Well, that's the best way to be busy is with grandbabies. My poor grandbabies have been out of school the last week. Very good. I'll ask Gina. I won't try and pry it out of you. I'll just ask on it. I didn't know you guys were keeping it secret. I thought it was something that was already out there. But I I will do it the other way. And you got to kind of wonder what's in those that vaping stuff to make you addicted. Well, Joe Bananas, I thought you quit cold turkey. I I did too. I The coma helped. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll ask on it, Gina. I'll pick her brain. It's still only 6:30 in the morning her time. You quit cold turkey in 2007? Wow. You guys are way stronger than I am. I had a love-hate relationship with nicotine. I hated being a smoker, but I just couldn't give it up. And anybody that says that they sneak cigarettes, you don't sneak cigarettes. You can smell it. When you're a non-smoker, you can smell it. Yeah, the tar is really bad. It's amazing. You know, one of the main things that is a cause of bladder cancer, and bladder cancer is more prevalent than you can think of. It's actually very, very common, is smoking. Smoking just doesn't cause lung cancer, it causes bladder cancer. Thank you, Gina. Excuse me. And yes, I will get with Audit. Thank you so much for your input today, Gina. Have a wonderful, sunshiny day full of love and laughter. You were going to die with your asthma. I caught a bad cold, and being in nursing school scared me. I couldn't breathe. Your inhaler stopped working, and I wanted to have a healthy baby in the future. And that's those are perfect reasons. And you smoked with asthma? Ooh, yikes. That's like doubling down on punishing your lungs. Definitely punishing your lungs. It's hard as a nurse. I mean, I've had doctors that smoke and nurses that smoke, and you're wondering what the heck if you see all of us with our black lungs, the charcoal lungs. Thanks, Haggis. I'll answer you here in a little bit, Haggis. Yeah, remember those old the PSAs and the advertisements showing the healthy lung versus the smoker's lung? That's what we need to do is we need to do a PSA on the healthy brain versus the e-meter brain. Power Lies can help us do some PSAs, short little 20-second clips. Isn't that how long most ads are? 20 or 30 seconds? Here's your brain on e-meter. Here's your e-meter brain, your e-meter body. See, there's another avenue that would be really cool for somebody that's behind the scenes. Because definitely PR is a major. This is your brain on Scientology. Yep, there you go. Remember the old This is your brain on drugs? Hey, JB. Currently vaping while listening to my live at 3:30 a.m. You smoked cigarettes for about 30 years, started when I was 11. JB, I started when I was 10 and I stopped when I was 30. So you're about 10 years ahead of me on the scale. And JB, thank you so much. I am so appreciative. So appreciative of the gifts that you sent me. Thank you. Yeah, right? So that way it doesn't look like coercion. It's self-harm. Yeah, a lot of people did. A lot of people smoked. Yeah, they didn't change that until like the beginning of the 90s. Oh, I was just so thrilled and so tickled. And somebody else sent me some note cards also, and they asked me the other day, it was that you, Peter? Somebody sent me some note cards, and I've been using them the last couple of days. I think probably the reg gets you more, because even if you do self-auditing, you still got to pay for it. That's just crazy that you have to pay a company thousands and thousands of dollars. Oh, I've got like a bug driving me crazy. When you dropped out of UCA in the mid 90s was when they started going to the no smoking indoors and in designated areas. Now it's completely smoke free. Thank goodness. But when it goes smoke free and it happens to you and you're the smoker, you get mad. It's like, they're taking my rights away. The night of my accident, JB, I was in a motorcycle accident and I went into a coma for 6 weeks. And then I was in the hospital for 4 months in ICU, and so kind of like forced into quitting. Kind of God thumped me over the head and said, "Boop, you're not smoking anymore." And then by the time I came out of the coma and out of the hospital 4 months later, I said, I don't want to smoke anymore because I don't want to ever have to deal with that. Well, thanks, JB. But as I said, that was one thing that came out of this accident 29 years ago was that I quit smoking. There you go. You guys can hook up on that CCHR information. I know, right? So when I would be working, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go take my non-smoker break. But speaking of breaks, though, you guys, I need to go get a few things done before my son gets here so he can go to work. I have a few errands that I need for him to do. Amy, thank you for what you're doing on the CCHR. We appreciate it. And it looks like there is no LAPD commission today, so we're off again today. But I am gonna scoot so I can get a few errands done real quick. So I love you all. I will see you in chats in a little bit. Thanks again, JB.